I wasn't in the ad
Right.
because of Jay-Z and them was putting it together. So I think they still harbor some energy towards me.
You think you were purposely left out of the ad?
The tension in hip-hop just hit a whole new level. From secret moves behind closed doors to billion-dollar power plays, the clash between 50 Cent and Jay-Z isn't just another rap feud, it's a war for legacy. What started as a lyrical jab has exploded into one of the most calculated, long-running rivalries the culture's ever seen. Stay locked in, because by the end of this, you'll see how 50 turned beef into power and why Jay-Z can't ignore it anymore.
I wasn't in the ad because of Jay-Z and them was putting it together. So I think they still harbor some energy towards me.
You think you were purposely left out of the ad?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't think. I think that they were saying the NFL has some issues with me that I don't know what those issues are. Like, what is the issue? You see what I'm saying?
That's 50 Cent dropping the bomb on what Jay-Z supposedly pulled off behind the scenes. But here's the wild part. Most people have no clue it didn't stop with just blocking a commercial deal. Word on the street says Jay-Z's crew might have actually rolled up to 50's mansion with a warning straight from the top: stop talking the origins of war, from how to rob to Rock Nation control. It's 1999, the year the tension in New York hip-hop reached new heights. A young, hungry Curtis Jackson, still grinding for respect, drops a track that would shake the entire rap game to its core. The track, How to Rob. In it, 50 Cent spits bold lyrics, joking about robbing every big name in the industry, including one Sean Corey Carter, better known as Jay-Z himself. But this wasn't just some funny punchline. It was a move of pure ambition. 50 wasn't playing safe. He was calling out the industry giants head on. He was a fearless newcomer with nothing to lose and everything to prove, ready to risk it all for recognition. Back then, in the ruthless streets of New York hip-hop, your rep was your armor, and showing weakness could end your career overnight. By dropping that song, 50 basically painted a target on his back for every top dog in the game. And guess who was already climbing toward the East Coast throne? Jay-Z, the king in the making, who definitely took notice. Jay-Z didn't waste any time firing back. His response came sharp and cold in 1999 on the track It's Hot, Some Like It Hot, from Volume 3, Life and Times of S. Carter. And right there, he dropped a line that would echo through hip-hop history. I'm about $1. What is 50 Cent? That single bar hit like a bullet. It wasn't just a lyric. It was a statement of power that set the tone for a rivalry stretching more than 2 decades. Jay-Z positioned himself as the untouchable mogul, the man chasing empires, money, and legacy. Meanwhile, 50 Cent played the fearless hustler from the streets, the one who didn't bow to anyone, no matter how high their throne was. These two Queens-bred titans turned competition into an art form, locking eyes in a silent battle that shaped an era. By the early 2000s, their rivalry had become part of hip-hop's heartbeat. During the 2003 Rock the Mic tour, where both artists performed, Jay-Z reportedly threw slick jabs on stage, subtle but sharp. 50 didn't stay quiet either. He clapped back right there, showing everyone that the tension was very real. Even though they stood on the same stages, the air between them was thick enough to cut with a knife. The energy was electric. Two giants pretending to coexist while sizing each other up every step of the way. What made this feud so fascinating was its balance. It wasn't open war, but it wasn't peace either. It was that dangerous in-between where respect meets rivalry. In a 2011 interview, 50 spelled it out clearly. We are in the same business. We are not necessarily friends. This wasn't the kind of wild, violent beef he had with Ja Rule. This was colder, smarter, and way more strategic.
And you said, yeah, that's what I talked to the big homie. You said, told Jay, he was telling me, you know, the white boy wouldn't do the truth without 50.
I hit the homie, the big homie Jay-Z, right? And I told him to come pull up on me. And he pulled up on me. And he said, the white guy called for 50 Cent.
By the mid-2000s, the rivalry between 50 Cent and Jay-Z took on a whole new level. 50 had just exploded with Get Rich or Die Trying in 2003, an album so huge it flipped the entire hip-hop game on its head. His G-Unit empire was unstoppable, dominating charts, radio, and the streets all at once. Meanwhile, Jay-Z was stepping into what he called his retirement phase after the Black Album. But 50 wasn't buying that story. He later claimed his takeover of the game is what pushed Jay to step back for a while. And honestly, when you looked at the numbers, it wasn't a wild claim. Both artists were selling millions, but 50 was the hottest thing breathing in rap at that moment. He wasn't just making hits, he was rewriting the playbook on how to own the spotlight. Then came 2017, and the tension resurfaced in a new form. When Jay-Z dropped 44450, brushed it off completely, calling it golf course music. That line hit hard. It wasn't just shade, it was a dig at Jay's evolution. 50 was basically saying Jay had gone too soft, too clean, too far from the street energy that built his name in the first place. And deep down, that comment questioned something way bigger: Jay-Z's authenticity. Had the Marcy Project's hustler turned into a billionaire too polished for the culture that made him? But the real storm came in 2022. During the legendary Super Bowl halftime show with Dr. Dre, Eminem, Snoop Dogg, Kendrick Lamar, and Mary J. Blige, 50 claimed Jay-Z's Rock Nation tried to keep him off that stage. He said straight up, "They didn't want me there." That accusation reignited the flames of one of hip-hop's most powerful rivalries, reminding everyone that even after decades, the tension between these two icons still burns hot. The truth didn't come straight from Jay-Z or 50. It slipped out through quiet conversations between insiders. Those talks eventually reached 50 Cent himself, and what he heard changed everything. Word was, Eminem had stepped in and put his foot down. He demanded that 50 be part of that Super Bowl show no matter who tried to block it. Loyalty runs deep in the Shady family, and M wasn't about to let politics push his brother out of hip-hop history. That moment said it all. It perfectly showed what their rivalry has always been about: two completely different worlds colliding. Jay-Z operates from the top floors of power, boardrooms, business deals, and billion-dollar partnerships. He controls narratives and moves through the system like a true mogul. But 50? He's a different breed. He plays by no one's rules, moves solo, and if he finds out something shady, he'll blast it for the whole world to hear. Jay-Z has corporate muscle on his side. Rock Nation's partnership with the NFL gave him real pull over who gets the spotlight at those massive live events. So when whispers spread that he might have used that influence to keep a rival off the stage, it painted a picture of how modern hip-hop wars are fought now. Not with diss tracks, but with power moves behind closed doors. And when 50 found out about these alleged moves, he didn't stay silent for a second. His reaction was pure 50 Cent. Loud, unfiltered, and ready to stir the pot all over again. When 50 Cent took a shot at Jay-Z's love for Basquiat, he hit a nerve that cut deep. Jay-Z has always built his image around being the refined mogul, the art collector, the man of culture, the guy who turned street hustle into high-class success. But when 50 mocked his admiration for the late artist Jean-Michel Basquiat, he was basically saying, all that fancy art and billionaire talk can't hide who you really are. It was vintage 50, strategic, savage, and surgical. See, that's 50's trademark move. He doesn't just throw random disses, he attacks what you value most. And in this case, Jay-Z's image of sophistication became his weak spot. It showed how sharp 50 is when it comes to reading the game. He knows exactly where he stands in hip-hop's food chain. While Jay-Z built Rock Nation into a billion-dollar powerhouse, 50 stayed rooted in his own legacy, the shady/aftermath family that put him on the map. And when it came down to something major like the Super Bowl performance, it wasn't Jay-Z's business world connections that had 50's back. It was Eminem who went to bat for him. That loyalty hit harder than any corporate deal ever could. But 50 didn't stop there. He's also thrown shade at how Jay-Z's image and career shifted after his marriage to Beyoncé. He's implied more than once that tying the knot with one of the most powerful women in the world changed how the industry viewed Jay, giving him a level of influence that went far beyond music.
And I'm like, that's when I start saying crazy stuff, because I look and I go, oh, that's your big homie. Right? So he imaged himself after Gay Painter. Okay. Big homie want to look like a Gay Painter.
And then there's the claim that really stirred things up: 50's belief that Jay-Z's Grammy count skyrocketed after his marriage. Whether that's true or not, the idea that Jay's success might be tied to association rather than pure artistry is one of 50's boldest accusations yet. It's a direct hit at the heart of Jay-Z's carefully crafted legacy, and it shows that after all these years, 50 still knows exactly how to shake the throne. By 2024, hip-hop's power balance was shaking like never before. The industry was hit with major legal storms surrounding big-name figures, and once again, 50 Cent was right in the middle of it all. But this time, he wasn't just watching the chaos unfold, he was documenting it. Through his partnership with Netflix, 50 was turning real-life scandals into powerful stories, pulling back the curtain on the darker side of fame and influence. Then came the shockwave in December 2024. A new civil lawsuit surfaced with serious allegations against Jay-Z. An anonymous plaintiff claimed incidents from the year 2000, saying she was underage at the time. Jay-Z didn't stay silent for a second. He came out swinging, calling the accusations heinous, fictitious, and idiotic. He said straight up that the entire situation was a blackmail setup, pushed by the plaintiff's lawyer. Jay-Z's legal team went all in, pointing out what they described as major inconsistencies in the story. Timeline issues, locations that didn't match up, and claims they said were impossible. Not only did Jay deny everything, but he also hit back with multiple countersuits, suing both the plaintiff and her attorney for defamation and extortion in several states. Then came February 14th, 2025. The twist no one saw coming. The plaintiff voluntarily withdrew the lawsuit with prejudice, meaning it could never be refiled again. Jay-Z immediately called it a victory, saying the truth had finally come out and the claims had no merit whatsoever. But while Jay-Z was clearing his name in court, 50 Cent was already on social media stirring up the next storm. As soon as the allegations first hit, he wasted no time posting online. "I gotta do a documentary on this ASAP," along with images teasing his next big project. The message was crystal clear. 50 was ready to give Jay-Z the same hard-hitting Netflix treatment he'd already unleashed on others in the industry. Even as the dust settled, one thing was certain. 50 wasn't backing down, and the drama between these two icons was far from over. 50 Cent knew exactly how the game had changed, and he played it better than anyone. He understood that hip-hop beefs weren't just fought on tracks anymore. They were fought on screens, timelines, and streaming platforms. By using his Netflix connection as a storytelling weapon, 50 flipped the entire idea of a rap rivalry into something much bigger. This was no longer just about bars, it was about controlling narratives and shaping public opinion. Back in the day, rappers used to settle scores through diss records or occasionally face-to-face tension in the streets. But the new era, it's digital warfare. Now the battleground includes documentaries, viral posts, and non-stop media buzz that never sleeps. 50 understood that better than anyone, and he was fearless enough to use it. For Jay-Z, though, this was dangerous territory. His entire empire, from Rock Nation to his billionaire brand, relies on a clean image and strong business relationships with corporations that hate controversy. So when 50 started shining that documentary spotlight his way, it wasn't just about reputation, it was about survival. Because no matter how powerful you are, once the internet grabs a story, you can't just buy your way out of it. Then in late January and early February 2026, things took another twist. Millions of pages of government-related documents were released under Transparency Acts, and Jay-Z's name suddenly appeared in a batch of unverified anonymous reports from past years. But here's the key part. These were just raw tips, not confirmed evidence or formal investigations. Experts, including officials from the Department of Justice, made it clear, having your name in those documents doesn't mean guilt. Most of those entries were unverified based on hearsay and often turned out to be false leads. No official charges, no active investigations, just noise. And interestingly, Jay-Z didn't issue any public response to those mentions, choosing silence instead of engagement. In today's non-stop digital battlefield, even that silence spoke volumes. As soon as those documents hit the web, social media went absolutely crazy. Timelines blew up with memes, hot takes, and wild speculation. Some users even claimed Jay-Z had started pulling back from public appearances, but none of that was officially confirmed. Still, the buzz was unstoppable, and once again, all eyes turned to one man ready to speak his mind, 50 Cent. What made 50's stance hit harder than ever was how he positioned himself, as the one with nothing to hide. When asked if he was worried about that same level of scrutiny coming his way, his answer dripped with confidence, classic 50's energy. He didn't flinch, didn't dodge, just stood firm and flipped the whole situation to his advantage. The contrast he drew between himself and everyone else in the game was deliberate and sharp. 50 basically said, "Yeah, I've made mistakes, but I own mine." He made it clear that whatever might have gone down in his past was nothing like the heavy allegations other industry figures were facing. By painting himself as transparent and fearless, he gave his image a whole new edge, turning from the troublemaker into the truth teller. And that move was genius. 50 wasn't just being a provocateur anymore, he was branding himself as hip-hop's self-appointed watchdog, the guy exposing the secrets everyone else is too scared to touch.
Look, when Jay signed his contract, the big one was with Beyonce. When he signed that contract, the marriage contract, he got trophies. No, fucking trophies. Those fucking trophies came rolling in, buddy. He started getting Grammys left and right, man. I mean, look, if you look at his career,
In his eyes, he wasn't just stirring up drama, he was protecting the culture. He wanted people to know that not everyone in the game was dirty and someone had to call it out. Meanwhile, Jay-Z, his response to all the noise has reportedly been silence. No statements, no interviews, just quiet. And that silence, it's got the internet talking louder than ever. As Jay-Z tried to shift his focus back to business, the timing of his move spoke volumes. Big announcements from his camp seemed to drop right around major industry moments. The Grammys, the Super Bowl, all events where Jay holds serious influence through Rock Nation. It wasn't just coincidence, it was strategy. For someone as powerful as Jay-Z, every headline and every partnership mattered, and any lingering controversy could shake up the empires he spent decades building. But 50 Cent? He thrived on the chaos. Controversy boosted his brand instead of breaking it. The louder the drama got, the more people tuned in to see what he'd say next. That's his superpower. He turns tension into attention. While Jay-Z operates in a world where image and clean reputation are everything, 50 built his kingdom on fearlessness, speaking on what others wouldn't dare touch. And that's what made things feel so intense, because 50 wasn't just hinting at drama anymore. He was teasing the idea that behind all that power, there might be something darker. People doing whatever it takes to protect their names and their empires. Whether it's true or just speculation, that kind of talk keeps the spotlight locked on whoever 50 decides to aim at. They don't call him the king of beef for nothing. To really understand 50 Cent's ongoing tension with Jay-Z, you have to look back at his long history of rivalries, each one shaping the culture of hip-hop. Over the past 25 years, Curtis Jackson has gone to war with more artists than almost anyone in the game. But there's method to his madness. His approach isn't random, it's strategic. Every feud, every jab, every headline builds his legacy as one of the boldest, most calculated voices in rap. And if you want proof of how deep his tactics run, just look at his longest running and most infamous rivalry, the one with Ja Rule, a brutal back and forth that's lasted from 1999 all the way into 2026. That beef didn't just change careers, it rewrote hip-hop history. It all started back in 1999, Southside Jamaica, Queens. That's where the bad blood between 50 Cent and Ja Rule was born. The story goes that Ja Rule was robbed at gunpoint for his chain while filming a music video. 50 later claimed one of his own associates pulled off the robbery and Ja happened to see 50 nearby, but didn't confront him. To 50, that silence looked like weakness, and from that moment on, it was war. Things got ugly fast. Later that same year, a violent clash broke out in Atlanta. Rumors say fists were flying outside a hotel. Then in March 2000, chaos erupted again at New York's legendary Hit Factory studio. One of 50's associates got stabbed in the brawl, and just months later in May, 50 Cent was shot 9 times outside his grandmother's home in Queens. The streets exploded with theories linking the shooting to the feud, but no direct proof ever tied it to Ja Rule or Murder, Inc. After surviving the attack and signing with Eminem and Dr. Dre's Shady/Aftermath label, 50 came back harder than ever. He dropped nuclear tracks aimed straight at Ja Rule's image. Wanksta clowned Ja's softer, pop-friendly sound, while Back Down from Get Rich or Die Trying was a direct, brutal, lyrical hit that tore into him without mercy. Then came the Hail Mary remix featuring Eminem and Busta Rhymes, a moment that completely crushed Ja's credibility in front of the whole world. Ja Rule fired back with tracks like Loose Change and Clap Back, even accusing 50 of being a snitch, but it didn't matter. 50 had already taken over hip-hop. His hits were everywhere, and Ja's street rep started crumbling fast. Within just a couple of years, the tables had fully turned. Ja Rule went from a platinum-selling superstar with songs like Always on Time and Mesmerize to a punchline in rap conversations. And if that wasn't enough, Murder, Inc., the label that once ruled the charts, soon found itself facing major federal investigations for money laundering and extortion. The feud that started with a stolen chain ended up taking down an entire empire. By the early 2000s, 50 Cent's relentless pressure helped push Murder, Inc. deeper under the microscope. And it wasn't long before the label collapsed completely. Even Ja Rule himself finally admitted defeat. In a 2013 interview on Hot 97, Ja openly said that 50 had won their legendary beef. But of course, that didn't stop 50 from keeping the jokes rolling for years.
He says, I gotta do a documentary on this ASAP. And he posts a picture of Jay-Z lighting, a cigar. Damn, they got your man Jay in the files. I gotta do a doc on this. And then he posts another picture of Jay-Z, wearing this particular outfit. Basically somebody who looks like he is about to go down. So 50 Cent is ready to work with Netflix. And I think Netflix would be open arms to this conversation because they just racked up 50 million views on the first documentary.
In 2017, when Ja's infamous Fyre Festival disaster made headlines, 50 went all in, roasting him nonstop online. Then in 2019, he took trolling to another level, buying 200 tickets to Ja Rule's Vegas show just so the front rows would be completely empty. Pure ruthless comedy from one of the greatest instigators in hip-hop history. Fast forward to November 2025, Ja Rule sat down with Carmelo Anthony on the 7 p.m. in Brooklyn podcast, and for the first time, he reflected on how deep that feud cut. He admitted the beef messed up New York hip-hop, saying it divided the city scene and slowed down its unity. Still, Ja couldn't resist throwing in a little ego boost, claiming his catalog aged better than 50's and calling himself the better rapper, even while trying to take the high road. But the story didn't stop there. Just a month later, in December 2025, Ja started taking fresh shots online, this time connected to 50's Netflix documentary work. He called 50 a dry snitch, saying he was always exposing people and hinted that he was working on his own documentary digging into 50's past. And right when people thought things couldn't get any pettier, another feud came back into focus, the beef between 50 Cent and Rick Ross. That one started from something so small, it was almost unbelievable. At the 2008 BET Hip Hop Awards, Ross supposedly felt disrespected by the way 50 looked at him. 50 later said he didn't even remember seeing Ross there, but the damage was done. Ross struck first in 2009 with Mafia Music, throwing jabs about 50's child support drama and even referencing the mysterious fire at his baby mother's house. But 50's response? Classic and cold-blooded, he didn't just drop bars, he dropped visuals. In a video, he declared his next move loud and clear. 50 Cent wasn't holding back. He looked straight into the camera and said it loud. So I'm deciding to mess your life up, Rick Ross. I'm gonna mess your life up for fun. This is not new. I do this all the time. That wasn't just a threat. It was a promise. And what came next showed exactly how ruthless 50 could get when he locked onto a rival. He dropped the infamous Officer Ricky series, exposing Rick Ross's past as a correctional officer, a truth that completely shattered the drug kingpin image Ross had spent years building. Fans were stunned. The entire street persona Ross had created suddenly looked shaky, and 50 made sure the world didn't forget it. But he didn't stop there. 50 sat down with Tia Kemp, the mother of Ross's child, and she unleashed even more shots at Ross's credibility, questioning everything about his authenticity. Then, in one of 50's most controversial moves ever, he leaked private footage involving Lastonia Leviston, the mother of another of Ross's children. That decision blew up legally, big time. Leviston sued for severe emotional distress, and the jury hit 50 with a $5 million judgment, one of the key reasons he later filed for bankruptcy. Even after that financial blow, 50 kept trolling like nothing could slow him down. By 2025, Rick Ross publicly said reconciliation was never going to happen. Ever. Meanwhile, 50 continued roasting Ross online, clowning his ticket sales, teasing his business moves, and keeping the feud alive every chance he got. But that wasn't the only war. 50 was fighting. His feud with The Game, a former G-Unit soldier, was one for the history books. It started as an in-house disagreement and exploded into full-blown street violence. In February 2005, 50 went on Hot 97 and publicly kicked The Game out of G-Unit, all because Game refused to take sides in 50's ongoing beefs with Jadakiss, Fat Joe, and Nas. What happened next was pure chaos. The Game and his crew pulled up to the radio station to confront 50, and shots rang out in the streets of New York. One man was hit, and panic broke out. Later, The Game described the wild scene himself, hiding behind trash trucks in the snow, wearing Converse with no grip while bullets flew all around him. It was one of the most explosive moments in hip-hop history, proof that when 50 Cent goes to war, it's never just lyrical. The shootout outside Hot 97 changed The Game forever, literally. The radio station completely overhauled how it handled interviews after that chaos. The tension between 50 Cent and The Game was so intense that even the industry's biggest power players had to step in. Eventually, Jimmy Iovine himself cut the check, paying both rappers to publicly call a truce. The game later claimed he got $2 million just to stop saying, "Gee, you not?" Can you imagine getting paid just to quit dissing someone? But peace didn't last long. The feud dragged on for more than a decade, diss tracks, interviews, and constant back and forths. Years later, the game admitted something real during an interview. If me and 50 didn't have beef, we'd be billionaires by now. That line hit hard. Two of hip-hop's strongest forces could have built an empire together instead of tearing each other down. It wasn't until 2016 that they officially squashed the beef, finally closing the book on one of rap's most explosive rivalries. Then came 2007, a showdown that had the entire music world watching. The epic sales battle between 50 Cent's Curtis and Kanye West's Graduation. 50 was so sure he'd win that he boldly promised to retire from solo music if Kanye outsold him. But when the numbers dropped, it was Kanye who came out on top, selling a massive 957,000 copies in the first week compared to 50's 691,000. Of course, 50 never actually retired. He just turned the loss into more fuel for his legend. And when it comes to feuds, 50's list doesn't stop there. It stretches way beyond music. He's clashed with Floyd Mayweather over money and boxing drama, sparred with his ex Vivica A. Fox after their breakup, and even had a public falling out with his own son, Marquise Jackson. He's trolled Oprah Winfrey for years, naming his pets after her and Gayle King just to get under their skin. But even in recent years, 50 hasn't slowed down one bit. In late 2025, he fired up new beefs, this time with Jim Jones, Fabulous, Mano, and Dave East. They criticized his documentary projects on a podcast, and 50's clapback was wild. He reportedly said he'd buy out the entire building their show was filmed in just to prove a point.
What do you do to get thrown in that mix? What do you do, guys, to get thrown in that mix? To me, it's more so not what you have done, but more so, why is the betrayal starting now? Who is the target on his back? Why are they doing this to him? What is the sole purpose?
When it comes to petty wars, nobody plays the game like 50 Cent. He turns every feud into a headline and every headline into history. Even comedy wasn't safe from 50 Cent's fire. He briefly clashed with actor Marlon Wayans after Wayans defended other entertainers caught in controversy. 50 instantly fired back online, calling Marlon a punk and not funny, before casually declaring that particular beef over, just another name added to the ever-growing list of rivals he's checked off. But not every feud ends in flames. One of the few genuine reconciliations in 50's long list of battles came with Fat Joe, a guy he'd been at war with since the mid-2000s after Joe's collaborations with Ja Rule during the height of that Murder, Inc. drama. For years, the two traded shots in songs and interviews, but time has a way of cooling even the hottest feuds. By January 2026, Fat Joe reflected on their piece, saying, "I've never seen this guy not have beef. He's got 8 new beefs right now." The two now reportedly consider themselves family, with Joe even inviting 50 onto his podcast. That's a full circle moment, proof that sometimes even the king of beef can bury the hatchet when respect outweighs rivalry. Looking back over his wild history, one thing becomes crystal clear: 50 Cent doesn't just get into beefs, he masters them. Each feud is like a chess game to him. He studies his opponent, finds the weakness, and strikes with precision, mixing musical skill, sharp wit, and ruthless strategy. His playbook hasn't changed in more than 2 decades, and it still works. Step 1, spot the weakness. Step 2, exploit it in public. Step 3, never back down, no matter what it costs, lawsuits, money, or backlash. And step 4, declare victory, even if the other side never admits defeat. That formula has wrecked careers, crushed record labels, and forced some of hip-hop's most powerful names onto the defensive. Some never recovered. It's why every year-end recap still crowns him the king of beef. And get this, by the end of 2025, reports claim 50 had gone after more than 13 different targets in a single year. Nobody in the game does it quite like 50 Cent. 50 Cent has openly said it. He loves trolling. For him, it's fun, it's power, and it keeps him relevant in every era of hip-hop. But beneath all the jokes, memes, and headlines lies something way more strategic. 50 isn't just out here starting drama for entertainment. He's playing chess while everyone else is still learning checkers. He's built an entire empire out of his ability to go further, louder, and harder than anyone else in the game. He's turned controversy itself into currency, a form of power that no chart position or award can compete with. And now, his focus on Jay-Z isn't random. It's the ultimate test of everything he's learned. Unlike J. Rule or Rick Ross, Jay-Z can't be crushed with sales or chart battles. He's already a billionaire. And unlike the game, there's no label politics to exploit. Jay's too powerful, too protected, too polished. So 50's strategy had to evolve. His new battleground is exposure, documentaries, public pressure, and non-stop questioning. He's aiming to shake the foundations of Jay's image, hoping that somewhere under that flawless billionaire brand, a crack might appear. Whether or not that actually happens, one thing's clear: 50 isn't walking away anytime soon. And if history tells us anything, it's that 50 never backs down from a challenge, no matter how powerful his opponent is. This rivalry isn't just another headline. It's the next chapter in a 25-year legacy built on fearlessness, wit, and pure audacity. The coming months could define the next era of hip-hop drama. Will Jay-Z's billion-dollar empire hold strong, or will 50 find a way to shake even the throne itself? No matter the outcome, 50's unpredictability remains his deadliest weapon. He's proven time and again that he'll go where others won't. And that's exactly why people can't stop watching him. Whether you love him or hate him, one thing's certain: 50 Cent will always keep the culture talking. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, share, and drop a comment with your thoughts below. Who do you think will win this legendary face-off, Jay-Z or 50 Cent? The story's far from over.